All right. How was it? How bad was it? Or, you know, how good was it? Whatever. What up, guys? It's good to see you. Do we know the bike problem? Joel, no, not yet. Also, Joel, 285, you'll take it? Like, hell yeah, you'll take it. You'll take that straight to the bank. Don't even act like you're somehow, some way disappointed by that. That's money. Oh, yo, Round Dog, it's good to see you. How you guys doing? I'm balling for Anderson because I liked him. Tim, same. And I wanted Sexton to get that win, don't get me wrong, but I was like, Anderson with the red plate, are you kidding me? Bonkers. That would have been bonkers. I play fantasy for a little extra interest, but I enjoy good racing. Word, Dean, I'm right there with you. I'm a little disappointed because Anderson dropped my points. But with that being said, Roxon was my other. I swapped him in for Roxon, and Roxon also didn't get a ton. So it is what it is. 260 can't complain, but I probably will. Jess, you're still top 1500-ish, right? You're right there. Doesn't it suck when you do good and you still don't crack? Cody, yeah, but. It depends on what you're going for. And me, I'm going for the season. I don't care what my weekly rank is. I just need my weekly rank to continue to be solid. You know what I mean? If Eli starts getting starts, Colby, it'll be interesting. But hey, Eli has the red plate. Do we want to see standings really quick? Let's look at these really quick. 450 rider point standings. Actually, I'm going to go to rider point positions because it's easier to see. Man, look at this right here. Would you guys just look at this right here? 59, 58, 58, 57, 54, 53, 52, 52. 7 points separates 8 riders. That is bonkers. Like, bonkers right there. 3 guys within 1 point. Right now, there are 4 people, Tomac, Sexton, Webb, and Barsha, that if they win next week, they get the red plate no matter what anybody does around them. All they have to do is win. But man, Webb, are you kidding me? 274. Just out there, just putting it in the work. Nothing fancy. 305, Matt, congratulations. 450 championship and race win battle has been awesome. Ryan, it really has. It's been top notch. For sure. It's been a good season. Didn't work out so great. MX reference, did you have Blos and or Wageman? No, yeah, that would be the 2. I feel like that might have been it. I laid off Blos. I thought a lot of you guys would. Hit it. I said on the Patreon, I don't know how many of you guys are on the Patreon. We'll get to that later, but on the Patreon podcast that I do for the members on Patreon, I said Blos is probably going to have a high pick trend because it's a long whoop section. He's going to look really good in qualifying, but a 0 handicap means he has absolutely no wiggle room at all for any mistakes. And I would rather not pick Blos and wait for him to have a bad one and get him on the rebound. And there it is. Those of you guys that laid off of Blos this weekend, next weekend, Blos is going to be maybe a 2. Could I get a 2, Paul? Could you give me a 2? What did Mark score? Greg, let's go and look. Let me see if it's updated yet. It is. Okay, so we're updated. Let's go to leagues, admins. I'm not in here. Maybe I should try to start a fight. Oh my god, I am in here. Oh my god, Mark's. Look at fucking Mark's dog out here. 719. Let's go look. 297. He nailed Walsh and Kelly for 252s. Swole, Lawrence, Bogle, Ferrandis, Sexton. I could not pick Ferrandis. I had him last weekend, but I did not have faith in Sexton winning. I mean, I thought he could win, but I also thought Sexton could have got 8th. So I stayed out. But Mark's got 297. He leads us. JT got 289. What did JT do? Mumford, that's who I had. Mumford, Kelly, Swole. He also had Sexton. That was good. And Anstey was a sneaky good pick. I didn't have a lot of faith in Anstey. I thought Anstey was going to get maybe 30. That was where I was at. I had 266. Paul had 260. Steve had 234. And Dan bringing up the rear with a 209. 30. Blos 11. Yikes, man. Also, Dan, what is this? What is this? Dan. Yeah, JT had Kelly. Weird, right? Almost like he said never, ever, ever again, right? Right? High variance guys are always scary. I'll rarely take Sexton. Dean, I'm with you on that. Same. Do they have those hats for sale? Mile High, they do not. I had this one custom made. It was very expensive. I would love to have maybe considered offering them for sale, but getting a small batch of a custom logo made on a New Era is a lot of money, it turns out. So, I don't know. We'll talk about it. But I even had to have the logo redesigned a little bit because I wanted it to be, like that embossed puff style. And the original Pulp logo was too wide for that kind of stitching. Way too much went into making this hat possible is what I'm trying to say, Does this mean I'm in first if the guys above me are all in AN? Spicer, I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. What happened to Marv? Paul, to be fair, this is where I expected Marv to be. No offense to him, but I thought he overperformed those first 2 weeks, and this is more what I expected him to be. He ended up, 10th? That's where I expect him. I fully expect every week for Malcolm, Ken, Anderson, Plessinger, Barsha, Webb, Sexton, and Tomac to beat him. So I feel like this 4th is a little overperforming, and the 8 to 10 is more where he should be every week. But most importantly, Muskin, worth double points. Ferrandis, still worth double points. That's big. Cianciarulo's handicap should now be a 3, maybe a 4. Wouldn't be mad about that. Everything kind of played out the way it was. Those of you guys that picked Brees, it worked out. Justin Bogle, I almost had a heart attack when he was dead last, down on the ground, pounding the ground with his hands. And I was like, I said it out loud. You never say it out loud. I was like, all he needs to do is get not last. And he threatened me. So how do I get 250 picks? Because I couldn't find out how I was able to just pick 450s. I wish I could show you Derpy Rock, but I can't. But when you go to my team, there's a 250 page and there's a 450 page. So if you're playing PulpMX, this is it. If you can only do 450, you might be playing Rocky Mountain because they don't do 250s over there. So that's the only thing I could think of. But you'll have a page for each here. I had AC. I never heard one person say he tweaked his knee. It happened in qualifying, but I didn't see it. But when Steve tweeted, which I retweeted, that AC said he was good, that was it. Also, to be fair, T, I don't know if it was a good pick, even healthy. I don't know if it was a good pick. You need to be, I said this on the pod that I did with the guys, you definitely wanted to pick AC before he took off, because while he had that massive handicap. However, you don't want to be too early, and that's the risk you run. That's why I wouldn't take it, is that the only real good AC week, you're either going to gamble with getting 0 or 42. You know what I mean? Big thanks to Norn for DNFing. At least he made the main, though, Johnny, right? He made the main. Let's look at the results here. What do we got? Somebody asked I don't know if it was in the chat or if it was on Twitter, but somebody asked, how did the people down the thing get double points? And for those of you, if you are newer, you get double points if you finish in the top 10 after handicap. So Justin Rodbell finished 21st, subtract 15, he gets 6th. 6th is better than 10th. Double his points from 17 to 34. So that's how that goes, in case anybody in here didn't know. I said out on, yeah, he did Mile High. He did. So if anybody doesn't know, if it ever says out on the thing down in the corner of the screen, what that means is that they have left the building. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're out for the night or anything. That means the transponder has left the range. It has been removed. They have been removed from the timing and scoring pool, is what the out means. So if you ever see that, somebody could still be out, but not, they could be wrecked. They could be on the side of the track, but they're not going to change the out until that timing switch gets turned off, either by them leaving range or somebody doing it manually. So when qualifying, if somebody says out, that just means they have gone back to the pits. They are no longer trackside. If you look at the top 3 in Pulp Championship, they don't have all races. They just bought in, and guessing bought throwouts. Oh, I got you, Blair. I got you. I got you. I did the same thing. Savachi did to tear ACL, but in turn, that's harsh, Derpy. I'm sorry. Decent points in the 250. Dane, same, dude. I got 162. I was a little 160 also, not 162. I also had 160. Got to word it right. No, I know, Johnny. I know. And I just want to say thank you, Freddie Norin, for continuing to do what Freddie things that Freddie does. I gotta scoot over a little bit to the right, get on frame. There we go. A carpeted room makes it hard to get the chair exactly where I need it. Did Bogle take out Barcia? No, reference. I don't think so. Not unless Barcia took out Bogle earlier. It just looked like a derpy little exchange. I don't think it was anything crazy. I'm going to take a drink. Give me 1 second. Do you guys, how many of you guys play other fantasy? So obviously we all play Pulp here. I think that's a given. Do any of you guys play Moto XD 360? Or do any of you guys play Rocky Mountain? Or are you long, hard, tried and true Pulp fans? Had my best Soupy night ever. Michael, where'd you end up? Went down the board, not down the track. There you go. I was told Barcia blasted Bogle, and Bogle got payback. Ah, okay, Marks. Yeah, because it was really weird watching it, because it didn't look intentional. It just looked awkward. Does that make sense? I don't know. You also, I literally, I want you guys to know I'm proud of myself. I stuck to my guns. The only change I made from what I gave you on my video was I swapped out Roxon for Anderson. And obviously that didn't work out for me greatly, but neither one of them maxed out. So, like, would I have liked those 3 points? Yeah, sure. But, I'll take it. Pulp only. I play Rocky Mountain. I do Rocky Mountain because it takes me 5 seconds to set that, and I pretty much leave it the same. I did pick Sexton to win tonight, though. I just realized on Rocky Mountain. I don't even remember what else I did. Same for Moto. I literally set the lineup on like a Wednesday, and I don't even look again. Signed up for RM, but always forget about it since I'm so focused on Pulp. Not really a fan of their format. Yeah, well, TGM, it definitely, I think a lot of people miss out that all of the fantasies have their spot, like Rocky Mountain is great for the casual fan that is just watching Supercross for the first time. No offense to other people that play it also, but that's what it's built for. You can be the most casual person, and you probably have a good idea who the top 5 is going to look like. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a good fan to do that, where Pulp is much more for the guys that are lifers. Like we eat Supercross, shit Supercross, sleep Supercross. You know what I mean? Like you gotta really know every rider top to bottom to really get this, or you're gonna miss out on it a little bit. You know what I mean? And then I think Moto X is somewhere in the middle, where it's much more in depth than Rocky Mountain, but it's also a lot easier, a lot more friendly to. You don't have to have a lot of strategy in that one in terms of if you just spend all of your points and none of those guys are injured, you're probably going to have an okay team. It might not be great, but you're going to have an okay team. You know what I mean? DV voice. Yeah, right? Mile High. As soon as I said you're going to eat Supercross, I was like, oh, I got to run with it, right? Oh, so bummed for my All-Star. It was bad. It was a bummer. I know, Harper. I know that 269 would have been nice, but hey, I'll take it. So 316 was the champion score. In the 450s, Ferrandis, Sexton, Brees, Hill. If anybody had these 3, I feel like a lot of people. There might have been a lot of people that had these 3. Good for you. 250s also. Kelly, Walsh, and Mumford would be a great team. B-Ray becoming the new A-Ray. I don't mean A-Ray as in he's going to be sketchy. I mean A-Ray as in there's the A-team and the B-team, and now the B-team is the A-team. Carson Brown didn't blow it, which means that next week he will. Everybody beware. Somebody said swolecock on Twitter, and I just was like, can we not be heathens here, maybe? First time for fantasy, so Pulp only. Tim, are you enjoying it? I hope you're having fun. I hope that it's fun. First and foremost, fun. Then everything else comes later. You know what I mean? Derpy, you should absolutely do Pulp. It's free. You can pay money if you want. You can win really cool prizes. You can win a dirt bike just for signing up. So like, I fully endorse, obviously. playing Pulp, paying for Pulp, Championship League, all of that stuff. It's my job. That's my job now. It's weird to say. I hate saying it out loud. I haven't had to explain to somebody what I do for a living yet, but I don't look forward to the day I have to try to do that. Rod Bell gonna be an 11. Yeah, I had no faith in Rod Bell. Can I just say it? Like, he looked great. You know, he's good. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's good, but those whoops were gnarly. It was a long whoop section. I knew he was gonna go to the LCQ, so I was like, he's gonna need to do 3. He's gonna have to go through those whoops 3 times tonight, like 3 races without crashing in them, and he did it. So props to him. I did not have the guts to pick him at all. My first year doing fantasy, but I'll start up. Hell yeah, bring it on. Let's look at the league. League championship. How's championship doing? So yeah, I don't know. Marks, do you know what's going on here? Yeah, maybe it just says non because having Oakland say NA is weird. Because they have points there. It doesn't matter. Either way, yeah, I would skip them. I would start here. We'll figure it out later. I misunderstood their comment in practice about only 43 450 riders, thinking only 3 guys wouldn't be in the main. Oh, Round Dog, I got ya. But they meant only 3 riders would make the night show. Yeah, obviously. Semantics, am I right? Semantic. It's a bug. Okay. So yeah, Spicer, good shot, man. What was the high score somebody actually knocked out? 316. Walsh, Kelly, Lawrence, Brown, Malcolm, Ferrandis, Sexton, Anstey. I mean, hats off. Kudos. No FFLs. 316 with no FFLs. That's crazy, dude. That's wild. Good. Hats off is all I've got to say to you. Who are my industry idiots people in here? DeVries 211. He's got 840 already, averaging 280 points a weekend. That'll go away. Oh, that'll go away. That's going down. Don't worry. I'm doing so bad. I'll probably only have 6 in the main of the Triple Crown. God, I forgot Triple Crowns happen. When does it happen, man? Check out Gauldy top 5. 282 this weekend. Kelly, Shimoda, Thompson, Swole, Sexton, Webb, Brayton, and McElrath. You love to see it. Let's not talk about it. Do you, JS, do you want me to find you on here? We can do a little searchy search. If you want to, we can do a little searchy. Who got FFLs? Mosman and Marvin. Mosman and Marv. Is it called the Pookie League? Is that the official name, Dane? Should we name it that and make it legit? Maybe we should. I'm an industry idiot, but kind of regretting it. Not a great season so far, but on the rise. The best part, though, TGM, about the industry idiots is, yeah, even if you're tanking at the season, but if you get... last year, I got a single top 10 in one event, and that paid my entry fee back. And I've been rolling my entry fee from like 3 years ago. I always do good enough in 1 week to earn my entry fee back, and I just keep paying that the next year or the next series. So like I haven't paid since I think 2019 or 2020. What do these picks mean? Derpy, if you want to go after the show is over here, go to the PulpMX Fantasy website, pulpmxfantasy.com. And on the main page right here, you scroll down a little bit. Right here is a video that I made for PulpMX. It says how to play PulpMX Fantasy Supercross. And I'll tell you everything you need to know. Just need to have one good weekend to make money. Yeah. It's called Pookie's Side Piece. Dane, I love that. I love that for you. I decided to pick Carr now because you jumped in the Pulp chat and said you would pick him every weekend if you could. I said, what the hell, I'll give him a shot. Brad, I need to know, did you go to Twitter? Because at 8:41 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 hour and 19 minutes before lockout, I have the timestamp. I have it. Guess why I have it? I said, Carnell said, do not pick me because he was banged up in qualifying, and he said, fantasy players do not pick me. You got to take all of it in. I know it's hard, but you got to take all of it in, all the content. You got to do all of the stuff. But most importantly, always do, if you have time, when it's 1 hour, the closer to lockout the better, but like once it gets to be about 1 hour before lockouts, go to Twitter. Go to Twitter, RotoMoto on Twitter and Instagram. On Instagram, I do the stories. I'll show you right now. Let me get Instagram pulled up. Let me do it on my side because I don't want anything to be on my homepage that I don't want you guys to see. You never know. Best to be safe. Best to be safe. But here you go, right here. Boom, 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 boom. All the guys that are out right there. I give that to you. I show you who's out. I show you who's in. I can't tell you everything. Like, I can't be like, AC's knee is tweaked. I can't know that. But if a guy is definitely in or a guy is definitely out, it'll be on Instagram in the stories. But Twitter, I always share them to Twitter as well. So I do my best. But yeah, Carnow himself said, do not pick me. I follow all of the riders, even the ones that are awful. Intolerable. I follow all of them so that you guys don't have to. Is it worth starting 3 rounds in? King, it's never too late to start. Again, I don't know if I would pay. It's up to you for the championship league. It's only $20. So it's not that much. You're still at 14 rounds to go, so it's still only like $1.20 a round. You can still win a prize weekly. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but obviously you have, your championship rank's going to be very off because you're starting late for like the season, but there's still weekly prizes. Let's look at the prizes. For a weekly prize, the winner gets a race-worn jersey. This week was Justin Brayton's jersey, fresh off his back. Second gets tires. They even give away free stuff, like a random person every week gets free beef jerky. This stuff's so good I paid for it. I didn't even get this for free. I bought our jerky myself. I will say, I think I recommend the 7 Deuce Deuce signature line or the Lady Killer. The Teriyaki's okay. But of the three, the Lady Killer is probably my favorite, but the texture on the 7 Deuce Deuce is great. So highly recommend. But anyway, random drawing gets a $25 Motorsport gift card every week and some R jerky. So yeah, you definitely get it. So those guys at the top of the Champ League had a mulligan used and it didn't add their championship points. Gotcha, Marks, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Using a mulligan this early in the season? Wow, couldn't be me. What am I drinking tonight, Ron Dog? It's just some Mio. I have a headache. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have a headache right now. I'm trying to push through this for you. So it's just water. It's just water with a little bit of flavor tonight. Oh, I want that AC plate. Oh, do you now? Is it time to talk about it? If you guys want a cool way to win a really cool one, I have a Patreon, RotoMoto on Patreon. I'll get you a link. Give me a second. But somebody's gonna win this. A lucky Patreon supporter is gonna win this. My cat wants it. She's okay. It's just gonna be random. You don't have to be good at the game. If you sign up for the Patreon, it's $5 a month, which is about $1 a race. You get an entry to do it. If you do $10, you get an enhanced cheat sheet, which is way more data. Gives you all the stats and info you could possibly want before making your picks. I do a podcast specifically for the Patreon, and in addition to, we have a Discord, so you can talk with other people and say, hey, what do you think about so-and-so, and get feedback in real time. But every month, this is the first one. This is for January. We're going to do this a little after next week. There's still time to get in on the AC plate, and then we'll have a new plate for February as well. So, and it won't be a plate. I don't know if it'll be a plate every month, but it'll be something used, autographed, something cool for you to have, to keep. I will ship it directly to you. Oh no, speaking of mulligans, I had a guy reply to the automated email that goes out 90 minutes before lockout if you don't have a team set up, and they said, In the Dominican, too drunk to pick a team. Test number 1 of the Mulligan system. Oh boy. That's nice. How did the Mulligan system do? Do you remember the username? I love that he responded. I don't know what's more impressive, Marks, that he responded to the automated or that you read the automated. Oh man, where did it go? Where did my chat go? There you go. Here's the link to the Patreon. And then I can pin that, I believe. There you go. I'll pin it to the top. So that should also be at the top. But if you want to check out the Patreon, that's where you can do it. Average Mulligan team this round was 254. God. Marks, I don't want to be part of that. I don't want people to have my information, so please don't. Heading out. Blair, you're out of here. Thanks for popping in and hanging out with us. We'll catch up with you next week. I can't wait till the races aren't in California because it is 1:30 in the morning for me. Where are my East Coast guys at? It can be a little brutal. 254. This is what happens though. Like, for what it's worth, I feel bad for those of you that had, Blows, Wageman, guys that should have did good that just didn't, because this was a week where nobody wild missed the main. I think not everybody, but almost everybody got all of their guys in. All of the experts got their guys. So if you guys don't know how the Mulligan works, if I go to the admins league, you'll randomly get a team made up of the guys that are on these teams. So in this one, JT, I think Dan had the worst team. So even if you got Dan's team, you still score 210. But in other ones, if you would have used the Mulligan at like Anaheim 1, you were just as likely to get, Alex Martin's 0, Carson Brown's 0, Derek Kelly's 12, Justin Bogle's 0. Like, you could have got a real rough random one. This San Diego, just a nice, easy lob of a pick where almost everybody got something. It happens. East Coast, Best Coast. Probably not. I mean, I like it, but I don't know about all that. Texas here, ready for races to move east. Yeah, it'll be good. But yeah, get you guys some mulligans if you want. Also, for those in case so you know how they work, if you pick a team, the only way a mulligan works is if you never touch your team. Because Marks, you can't take a team back, right? Like once I put 8 on, I can never take it off. Like I can't go back to no team, right? Can you still buy them? You can. If you guys want to buy mulligans or expert picks, if you missed it, you can go to the pricing/add-on section right here, and it'll show you right here, and you can add in 1 mulligan, or you can buy 3 mulligans for $10. You can only have 3. You cannot have more than 3. That's a lot of fantasy talk. Do we want to talk about Chase Sexton's and Michael Mosiman getting their first win? Jesus is a savage, and so is Michael Mosiman. Does anybody else remember in St. Louis when, was it Jet? Jet wrecked him like the week before. So in the heat race, Mosiman wrecked Jet. And then on the podium, Mosiman said, Jesus is a savage, and so am I. It was such a ridiculous line delivery that that my wife and I haven't stopped like saying it and memeing on it, because it was just such a weird just a weird thing to say on the podium, you know? Oh, happy for Mosiman. I am happy for Mosiman. He needed that rebound after that absolutely abysmal Kristen Beat interview he did on Race Day Live. That was something. That was a real snooze fest. I don't know about anybody else, but I think we were all playing on our phones at minimum, I think, during that, right? But it was exciting, good racing. Obviously, heartbreaker for Anderson. I really wanted Anderson to stay up, but I'm also happy that maybe he would have got Sexton. It's cool. It's always cool to have a first-time winner. That's always super cool. I had Mosiman and Sexton on my team. Look at you go, Arvik. That's nice. Do you guys think Sexton rattles him off now? Had it on mute during that interview. It was just and like the nice. He seems like the nicest guy. He seems like literally the nicest guy, but just such a dork. Just such a dork. You know. DV was in the bathroom. Yeah. I was just like, yeah. Can we do anything else? And again, I love Chris and Beat too, but I'm like, you are off asking him lob questions, and he is answering lob answers. You know. So what's the red plate situation look like? So Tomac takes it in. Sexton, Webb, and Barsha are all like control their own destiny, win, and they get it. 3 rounds in, the defending champion does not have a win. Does Webb win? Does Webb win before Minneapolis? It's such a heartbreaker because, you know, and I know this is why the sport's great in the parody, but if you look at these stats, Barsha getting dropped by Bogle and Anderson smoking clutch, these two guys should be 1 and 2. It should be Anderson and Barsha. No offense to the rest of the crew, but like it should be Anderson and Barsha 1-2. If it wasn't for just things that were borderline, I say they're out of their control. If what Marks said is true and Bogle was retaliating, then that's on Barsha. He deserves to get some back. You know what I mean? Eli laughing at Ando. Now you know why I left. Yeah. Did anyone understand Dylan? I didn't catch Dylan's. Once the second place guy gets interviewed, I come in here and start up stream, so I missed out on Dylan. But probably grenade a few more. Oh yeah, I definitely don't think he's title threat yet. He's 22. I feel like we forget how young some of these guys are. You know, Sexton's 22. Sexton, what? Craig was on 85s when Sexton was born. You know? Mookie is 7 down. Yeah, he's still in it. I did like how harsh Blair, of all of them, Blair was very critical. During Race Day Live, when they were doing if you guys watched, they were doing contender or pretender, because I think I think it was either Kristen, Dan, or I can't remember the new guy's name, said Malcolm was a contender, and he was like, he hasn't even won a race yet. He's got to win a race before we put him in contender category. And I was like, no, Blair is, I don't always like Daniel Blair and what he says, but 100% right. I need Malcolm to win a race before we really start putting him in that. It's not good enough to just keep it close, you know? Barsha still hasn't learned that you can't make that many enemies. I saw that Jerry Robin made a new enemy tonight. That was well, today. He made it today. I saw it tonight. That was, speaking of people who like making enemies, yeah, that was good. Webb will win Glendale. He should do better on football fields. God, this track. It's okay. Can I just say this track sucked? I think everybody can agree. Can I get a yeah, the track sucked in chat? But they can't all be bangers. There's always gonna be at least one track on the thing that has to be like a clear step below the other ones. This one sucked, but they can't all be great. I did think it's wild because normally the baseball stadiums have the longer lap time, so I was shocked to see that the baseball stadium was so short, but track sucked, yeah. Blair said 23 was going to win last year. He did, yeah. He did. I thought Craig was for sure going to be, yeah. But yeah, that track was, I don't know, not spicy. Not good. Are you guys done picking the FFLs yet? We've had 3 different FFLs in each class, right? Because we had Freezy, Joe Shimoda, Michael Mosman. So none of them have been the favorite. And then on the 450, it's been Roxon, AC, and Marv. Are you guys picking FFLs? Because I haven't picked one yet, and I am not picking one for a long time. Longest whoops. Oh yeah. Does FFL wrong need to go down to -5? Marks, I don't think so. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but it's just for me personally, Marks. If somebody came out and got 2 of them, I would maybe think of it, but I always wait until there's a pattern. if you go back and you look at, let's go to Championship League 2021, and if you look at the people, they don't pick a lot of FFLs. And when they did, they were wrong. So, and I'm not saying that you should never pick FFLs, but you shouldn't pick them every week. You should really look and see. Yeah, this guy was 1 for 4, 2 for 5, 2 for 6. And this guy won the league. And it seems like by the middle of the season, they all give up on it because they know that it's a bad thing to do. So if you feel like you're buried and you need to make up points, I fully understand going for it. But I think that early season, unless you're really confident or you're playing to win a jersey, I am not in for FFLs on your normal ones, you know? It's worth a set. Yeah, I think it's worth. I think the -7 is fine. Too risky. I'm trying to stay consistent. Yeah. I think it depends on FFL pick trends. If nobody is biting, then maybe. Yeah, and again, it depends. So last year, and I hate myself for doing this. Last year on the final round of the outdoor season, I went for an FFL, and I went for a weird one. I went for Cooper Webb because Kenny was the right answer, but I was so far down, and I was playing for a top 100 number that I was like, last race of the year, I have to send it. I need all the points to catch up. And I ended up having the best week of my life. You know, I got Elzinga for 100, Kelly for 100. Everybody turned out. Meshi got me 90. And if I would have picked Kenny, which was the obvious choice instead of Cooper, I would have made top 100. So the one time I zigged when everybody else zagged because I was trying to make up points was the one time where the rest of my team absolutely decimated and I didn't get it. So it is what it is. Some people love the FFL. I think it's fine where it is, Marks. Lit kit for the night. Mile, I don't know. I don't love the military nights. I appreciate what they're doing, but I am a little disappointed that every year most of the teams just bring out like the same thing they always do, but it has like a digital camo hidden in the background, like HEP Suzuki. The blue, the part that was already blue was now just different shades of blue. I don't think anybody really got super creative with their gear or their bike. All jokes aside, I thought that Jerry's pinstriped Padres inspired gear was really cool. If I have to give anybody, I'd say PulpMX. I thought PulpMX's like pink and blue was really neat. Was a really neat gear setup for the event. I don't know. Craig is gonna win next week. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, if it's all, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I was gonna say as long as he doesn't crash, but apparently even if he crashes, he podiums. Did it look like Craig was playing a video game to anybody else? Because it looked like on like the second lap when I swear Craig passed 4 people in the whoop section. And I'm like, this guy's playing a video game on easy. It was just like, it was incredible. Greg, thanks for hanging out. We'll catch up with you next weekend. Get some sleep. Have a good weekend. Nuclear Blast Bike. They are really sweet. And I also appreciate that they weren't just a generic, let's slap a red, white, and blue on the side and call it a day. You know what I mean? They actually did something meaningful. I wish more of them did that. I also feel bad for the teams because they also feel pressured to do a military, because you don't want to be the only team out there that isn't doing the theme, you know, because as much as, like I said, as much as Jerry's Padres kit was nice, he was like the only guy out there that wasn't he's a privateer, but you know, like a real lower end privateer. He was like the only guy out there that wasn't military, and it looked really odd. He really stuck out, but in a bad way, you know. Yeah, that's true, Michael. That's true. The Blue Angels Alpine Star, I don't know why that was hard to say, was a really good look. I really like that. I loved the HRC. There's something about a white Honda. I know it was light gray, but there's something about that mostly white Honda that was just really did something for me. So that was pretty great. Has anybody talked about the silence? Craig, I didn't hear it. How did you guys get silence? I saw on Twitter that some people had like an hour of complete and utter silence on the broadcast. Mine worked from the second it booted up. I had no issues at all. That's not true. That's not true. Don't let me lie to you. I did have my audio was about a quarter of a second behind my video. Did anybody have that? It was just enough where during the commercials, it looked like the people's voices were dubbed over. As soon as Craig got back up and looked at the timing, lower graphics, saw Freezy, Thrasher, Mumphy, and knew Craig was podium. Yep. Oh, man. I kind of thought Freezy might actually park Craig again. I'm not gonna lie. It was gnarly. I thought he was gonna park him. And the Shimoda break a passing record going down every week. Kalen, it's where's my oh, okay, speaking, I'm gonna say where's my Joe Shimoda that never wrecks? Speaking of, is it time to hit the panic button on Ken Roxon in the whoop section? I know that this one wasn't necessarily his fault, because in the end he didn't crash because of the whoops. He crashed because his line and Anderson's line came together. But the whole reason Kenny went that wide and had to turn that sharp was because he got out of sorts in the whoops and it carried him too far into the corner. So then when he went to turn, Anderson was already there. There's nothing he could do about it. But do we need to hit the panic button on Kenny and the whoops? Is Shimoda double points next week? Let's look, because I don't think so, but it's possible. No, he's somehow still fifth. I mean, he's 775, I guess, so that's not that wild. Guys that are double points, tell me if Robbie Wageman, Chris Bloss, and Garrett Marchbanks isn't your team next weekend. Wageman got a 14th, so his handicap would have to go up to at least a 2, Paul. Bloss's has to go up to a... Was Bloss a 0, right? Bloss was a 0. I guess I can go and look. I also have these things at my fingertips, and I don't have to make you do it. Bloss was a 1, so Bloss has to go up to at least a 2. And then Marchbanks got last... But he got 8th the week before, so Marchbanks has to be a 0 or a 1, right? So I mean, if you give me Wageman, Bloss, Marchbanks all at like a 1-2, that sounds like a team to me. Because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of messing with this, with the Dominique Thuries breaking your hearts, and we all know it's if you pick Derek Kelly this week, you skip it. What's the formula for handicaps, Brad? It's human entered. So Paul Parabinos, who you might know, he from the PulpMX empire in general. He worked with Pro Taper. He worked with Renthal. He was Dean Wilson's personal mechanic for a very long time. When Dean was doing his privateer thing 2 years ago before Rockstar brought him back on, Paul was the guy there. I know JT and Dan helped to some extent, but I know Paul mostly does it. And they kind of just try to look at where was it last week and then adjust it according to this week's results. So if a guy was a 2 last week and he finished 14th, then Paul was probably going to move him to a 3 to kind of split it down the middle a little bit. It's not a perfect science. I feel like Paul probably has at this point a system, if nothing else. The hardest ones are going to be for him is what do you do with a guy like Garrett Marchbanks, who definitely should be an all-star, but he is a little cattywampus at times, and he is coming off of a DNF. Those are the ones that are really hard to just to algorithm. You almost have to do that one manually, Thury is now on my list with Robin, Kelly, and Brown. I just don't know what happened to Thury. Where did this Thury go? I thought Thury was pick of the night. I was mad I couldn't pick him because I had him last weekend. He was also running really well here. I don't know. Was that Bogle's crash? The one with Barsha, you mean? So we're not. No. Yeah, it's not just throwing darts at the wall, Brad. I don't know exactly how it works, but if you told me right now to do the handicaps, I would probably get mine pretty close to Paul's. I feel like I would do that, but it would be close. It's hard to believe we've had 29 different people make the main event in the 250 class in 3 rounds. Also, what happened to Mitchell Harrison? Does anybody have any idea? He was so good last year. He was 13th in Anaheim 1, and he has been nowhere close to making a main since. Not even sniffing the main event. And I wanted to say maybe he's hurt or something like that, but his handicap or his qualifying time isn't that far off where he was last year. Because last year, I'm gonna go look at the stats real quick. Last year, he qualified around 20th. He's just not a great qualifier. And this year he's qualifying, let me find him. He was 25th last night, or tonight. He was 20th at Anaheim, 23rd at Oakland, 25th last night. And last year he was, his average qualifying was, let me look, 21st, 13th, 15th, 12th, 17th, 10th. So, like, yeah, that's obviously worse, but I don't know. It's not like he was qualifying 8th and now he's qualifying 30th. I don't know. Makes no sense to me. Thomas Doe. I actually do have information about Thomas Doe. I don't know if you saw, I posted it on Twitter. He posted a video on YouTube that's entirely in French. I watched it with closed captions on, like auto-generated closed captions. So I don't have all of it, but I got the gist. But long story short, Thomas Doe came into the season prepared. He came over to America in November. He had a good offseason of preparation, but he's just not there. He's not at the speed he wants to be. He's not at the speed to run with these guys. And long story short, he just said the risks taken with US Supercross are not worth it for me to be a 15 to 25th place guy. He said like last year was weak. He doesn't expect to be top 8 again, but he also didn't expect to be a guy that was fighting just to make the main. And he's packing up and going home. And a lot of people were kind of critical of him for like giving up and all of this, which, by the way, nobody said that about Kevin Windham when he decided to retire. You know, Thomas Doe's not a rookie. He's been racing Supercross in the US since like 2013, off and on, but I mean, it's been a decade. You know, the guy's probably in his early 30s. I could not find an age for him, but you know, there just comes a time in your life, I feel like we all do it. I've done it, where you just realize that you're like, man, this is really dangerous, or I just can't keep up with these guys anymore. So that's what happened to Doe, which kind of sucks. Did anybody have Walsh on their radar? Jordan, I looked at Walsh, but for me, my, like, how do I word this? My key to success, if you will, in this game is I like to pick people that have 2 shots at making the main. I like to pick a guy that I'm pretty confident can get through the heat, but if they don't, at least I have an LCQ to fall back on. And with Walsh, I haven't been confident that he's going to he's going to come out of the heat. And he's done it, obviously, but I didn't think that I don't feel confident he's going to come out of the heat. So that's why I stayed off of him. I like to have a guy that, you know, gives himself 2 chances. Brandon High. Jet's brother almost pulled it out. Oh, I don't know where. Rotowife showed me a picture of Hunter sitting on the side of the podium with his head in his hands, just so bummed. And I feel that for the kid. Like, so bummed to get that close, to be right there and not be able to pull it off, because that was his spot. You know what I mean? That was definitely a spot. Next week I'm picking on Wednesday and not changing it unless a rider is reported out. Ron Dog, that's what I've been doing. I think that's something y'all should probably look for, is that if you're confident in your early team, like I am, stop looking for a reason to change it. If the 8 guys you picked qualified reasonably where you expected them to, then why are you tinkering with it? It's so easy to look and meticulously point out every little change and like, oh, well, this guy was 3 spots higher than he should have been, or blah, blah, blah. Like, just take the guy take the 8 you had, and then, I try to make it a rule where unless somebody gets hurt or, is way, way off the pace, don't change more than one guy. Change one guy if you must and leave it alone unless something terrible happens. And the best thing about it is that even if you don't score really well, at least you can kind of rest easy knowing that you didn't pull the guy off your team that scored really well. It's a lot easier to forgive yourself for a move you didn't make than for a move that you did, Next week, I got that one. I'm the worst. I mean, Tanner, how many, but look, you have a system and it works for you, so I'm not going to tell you to do anything different because you got it working out. How does Craig do? Craig, that's a great idea, or a great question. How does Craig do when the whoops aren't a big separator? When are we going to have a track that doesn't have a big separation of whoops? I thought Oakland was going to be the weaker of the whoop races. It seems like this year in general, most of the track maps feel like they're going to have some pretty good whoops, which is good because that creates separation. And I'm not even critical of the Craig being old versus all the kids kind of thing, but he literally looks like a man riding with boys in a lot of aspects of his game. It definitely makes it a little less interesting. The 250 class is way top heavy right now. And it definitely looked really bad tonight because when you had Mosman and Hunter, and then you had like 40 seconds to Craig, and then 40 seconds past him. But when you had Marchbanks and Shimoda and Thrasher wreck and Hammaker was out, what are you going to expect? Like tonight was a really weird night. Really weird night. Blame Cade for the whoop. So we just blame Cade for everything, right? My wife doesn't think about this at all and picks 1 hour before the race. Brandon, that's my wife. She literally does not want to use the stuff that I do, that I provide for you guys. She watches the video. She looks at the basic cheat sheet. She doesn't want the enhanced cheat sheet. She's like, that's complicated. She doesn't want to second guess it. She just looks at the list, picks her riders, and goes. And she has way... Now, with that being said, she had her first guy miss the main tonight, and her mood changed a little bit. So there's that, but she doesn't sweat it as much. But now she's in it for the money. She paid money. So now she's got a little bit more on the line. We'll see how it goes. Till we go east and they break down to jumpers, which he won't be racing. Right, Tanner, right. Yeah, they definitely picked a good idea of having him race west. Early team always does better. It really does. It really does. Is the press conference live? Brandon, I don't know where you can watch. It is live, but I don't know where you can watch it. How long do we think AC and Savacci are out? I think Savacci might be out. Like, if Savacci got hurt that bad, it might be best for him to get surgery now. I don't mean to say I told you so, but I hope nobody in here had Savacci on your team, because I said in the video, I said in the enhanced cheat sheet, or the Patreon podcast, he wasn't a good pick healthy. He's not a great pick healthy at a 0, because he only finished top 10 50% of the time last year. And beyond that, he's one tip over away from being out for the season, and we might have seen that tonight. So hopefully he's well, but I think it just might be, they have 3 riders. They could afford to have him stay out. You know what I mean? What's the report? Jordan, he has a torn ACL. He rode last week with a torn ACL. I put way too much into the love the enhanced cheat sheets. And Dane, same. Obviously, like, what I give you Patreon supporters is what I've used for the last 3 or 4 years. It's gotten better and deeper, but I'm giving you the information I've always had. But I use that info to make my early team, which you guys don't really have the luxury of as much. But I don't really worry as much about qualifying times, Joey just a few handicap numbers away. Michael, I don't know what I would pick him at, though. I guess it would depend on the rest of the field. But right now, with Marv worth double, Ferrandis still worth double, Brayton is still going to have value. Man, I don't know. It is tightening up, though, because if we go by this, Brayton was a 4. I bet Brayton goes down to a 3. I don't think he goes to a 2. McElrath has to go down to a 4. Anstey goes down to a 4. Dean goes up to a 3. Ferrandis is probably a -1, -2. Mooskin's probably a 0. But like Hartraft is now going to be like a 6 or a 7. Oldenburg is going to be like a 7. Chiz is going to be like an 8. Like, it's definitely going to tighten up. I don't know. I never want to pick a guy that is literally a tip over from a DNF, though. Scored 161. My original pick's 231. Ron Dog, who hurt you? Is Dylan just rubbing his hands together now that AC is out? For sure calling into Pulp this week. Oh, no, Craig. I hope not. I never want to hear that mother effer again. I can barely stand him on that Pulp commercial, if I'm being honest, between me and you. Joey isn't worth looking at unless a 10, if you ask me currently. Does Dino have value at a 2 to 4? Ron Dog, I think so. Because Dean was down early, right? Or was it in the heat race? No, it was the main. He was down early and came back to a 14. I think if Dean is a 3 or a 4, I think I could pick him. I don't have a lot of love picking the guys in like this territory. Not very often. Dino's down the main. That's what I thought, baby. I put way too much time in my fantasy. Michael, the problem for me is, and I'm doing fine, don't get me wrong, but the problem for me is I put so much time into tabulating all the cheat sheets and putting all the numbers together and doing all of that by the time I'm done with it, I'm so tired of looking at the numbers that I don't spend that much time on my own picks. I think that's why I've kind of gone back to the Soul Rider version of that there's nothing wrong, if there's nothing broken, don't fix it kind of thing. I cannot wait to stop looking at handicaps because I spend about 5 hours working on them all during the day, during race day. Where you at with Anstey? Patty, I'm out. If I'm being honest, I thought a 6 was too low for me, and now he's going to be even lower than that. Great guy. I love to see him getting 12th. But I am definitely out now that he's going to be probably more like a 4, you know? Try and stay away from the 8 to 12 guy. Never enough value most of the time. It depends. Craig, I'm sort of with you. If I'm going 11, 12, if I'm going like 10 or 11, I'd rather go 12 and 13 so that at least I get guaranteed double points for making the main. I don't have the stats handy, but for 2 years ago, it was 2020 season, I literally typed in every single handicap and their score to see what are the odds, what are the averages, what is the distribution, all of that. And it was kind of surprising. The worst number is 15. 15 handicap was the worst by a lot. There is never a reason to pick a 15, ever. Ever picking Bogle and Tanner, oh my God. Oh man, I feel he might be the one rider that I let my heart lead me a little bit too much. I don't know why. I like Bogle. I want to root for that guy. I don't know if it's an underdog story or if it's because of how he dresses. I'm always excited to see what Bogle's gonna show up to the track in. But I don't know. Like I always pick Bogle, and I don't know why. He's just, the problem is, the worst part, Tanner, is that he's gonna get 15th. One of these weeks, he's gonna get 15th, and he's gonna score like 42 points. And I have to pick him every week because I believe that's how fast he is. He's like a Jerry type, but at least he makes the main. I don't know. It bums me out to see Bogle struggle. Tanner, I'm right there with you. He has the skill, but ends up on the ground a lot. Does Brees have the potential to be the next Chiz? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know where you're going with it, but no. Because he rides too hard and too aggressively. I don't think Brees, I honestly, between me and you, I think Brees is a better rider than Chiz. He is not nearly as smart as Chiz. And I think that's where he's going to lose out. Are the handicaps set for the rider to just make it 10th? Brandon, yeah, more or less. For the non-all-stars, you're weighing yourself against 10th. But if I'm going to say, biggest tip I have for you guys is that's how they are, is 10th, but that shouldn't be the way for you. For you, you should say, do you think it's going to be easy for them to make 10th? And then you have to say, do you think it's reasonably possible that they're going to get like 6th or 7th after handicap? That's what I look for, is a guy that, I picked Bogle because in my mind, I'm like, Bogle should have no problem getting 21st, which he did, but I think it's very likely Bogle could get 17th or better, because I'm looking for guys that can score 34 points or more. So if you're looking at these guys and you're looking at Amart, for example, at a 10, I was so out at Amart on a 10. Because in my eyes, I'm like, he needs to get 20th to max out, and he could very well miss the main, especially with that long whoops. But do I think that Amart has a real good shot at getting 16th? And I was like, I don't feel that confident, because last week he got 17th, and he had a great day and still only got 17th. Dean has no value around 10th. Exactly, Brandon. Do you think Dean can realistically get top 7? And I'm like, no, not in this field. Not until it thins out. Bogle on my team next week, but what happened? He won concussion away from being brain dead. Yeah, that's true too. This has to be his last year, right? Like this is Bogle's last year. This is Blos is confirmed. This is his last year. How many? Brayton has confirmed this is his last full-time season. How many more years does Chiz go? Do you think Chiz goes another year? I feel like Freddie hangs it up after this year. I think Marv hangs it up after this year. I don't think anybody in the top 8 do. Does Dean go longer than this year? I feel like we're about to have a mass exodus. I think we're getting close to it, You're wrong, Andino. I hope he doesn't, but I could just see, kind of just like Thomas Doe, like once these guys there's two things in play of, one, can it be continuing to be worth it for guys like Dean, who have been past champions, to be fighting for their lives at 12th? Do they want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, as a competitor, that's got to hurt. That's got to burn. For Dean to go out there and put out an absolute banger and look up at the timing and scoring and see 12th. Like, that's got to hurt so bad. But they get older and they want to start families. And then let's say Rockstar doesn't bring back Dean, because he's a good marketing tool. But if Rockstar could go out and get Justin Cooper or Colt Nichols or Christian Craig, and Dean can't have that ride, is Dean going to be sufficed to be with HEP Suzuki or, MCR Honda? Like, is he going to want to take that step down? And I think that's the same way with a lot of these guys. Dean doesn't want to be Chisholm, out of his own Sprinter van. You would think Paul would make Brandon. Yeah. But he knows he is old as hell. No, for sure. Last year, Dean said he was planning to retire at the end of 2023. That's fair. But it'll be rough. Craig had top 5 times. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, like Craig's got. And to be fair, this was a very Craig track, being that the whoop section was 73 miles long. But it doesn't change the fact that Craig could, would, and should be in the 450s, but he's not going to do it unless he gets the ride he wants. And as much as that can be not as fun from a sportsman aspect, as a businessman, as an adult, as a man with a family and shit like that, like I understand. I don't, but as him, I understand why he would rather stay in the 250s and collect big fat paychecks. Who am I to judge, you know? Which I don't think he will. No. And again, it's getting harder and harder at the top when you think, can I get Dean or can I get somebody else? Craig to Gas next year. Tanner, I wonder if Gas is going to up to 2. God, can we just say really quick, I'd love to make a video on this, but I don't know if anybody would watch it. I want to know what motocross would look like with a Constructors Championship like F1. Do you know how cool that would be? If, let's take Marv, just for the sake of it, let's put Marv on Gas for this year, just because that makes it easier. And you've got the two Cowies, the 2 Hondas, the 2 Yamahas. You know, you've got the whole thing. Everybody has 2, but then like HEP has 3. Let's just say they have to pick 2. Like you get to pick 2. Go down the list and like that would be so cool and add a whole nother wrinkle to it of those second guys mattering more. I don't know. That'd be cool. Jordan, thank you for hanging out. Have a good sleep, and we'll catch up with you next weekend. Just hope on the night. Just hopping on tonight. Don't know if this has been discussed yet, but can anyone tell me what is happening in the Just for Men's Hair commercial? Oh, man. Does anybody else have a dog that the Stasic commercial absolutely ruins your dog? Every time the Stasic commercial comes up and that electric whine of the thing, my dog goes ballistic. Like, absolutely ballistic, like there's an intruder in the house. And they play that commercial like 6 times a night. I had to send him upstairs because it was getting bad. If J. Martin Craig win on Supercross this year, who do you think out of J. Coop, Nichols, Craig, and J. Mart deserves a 450 ride the most? Oh, Craig, I think Craig, because he has experience in the 450s. However, all of these teams are always looking for the next big thing to lock into a big contract. And usually once somebody goes somewhere, they want to stay there. So I would say I would give it to Nichols, if I'm being honest. Because J. Mart and Craig, how many more years do they even have left? You know? Neither one of those guys are going to be championship contenders. But Cooper and Nichols could be champion contenders in the future. So I think I would go with the younger 2, and I think I would go Nichols over Justin Cooper, but I don't have a lot. That might just be my own bias coming in. Michael, my cat, the one that was just sitting here, my cat loves the races. She will literally sit here while I watch qualifying, and she will literally watch. I can see her head move back and forth as they go back and forth. She loves it so much. How about them Suzukis? Hey, on the start, right? Getting good starts too. I'm just really stoked for Carson Mumford. Can we just talk about it really quick? I know the results don't look that great on paper, but man, total turnaround from last year. Total turnaround. Love to see it. I love the best for that kid. I really do. I would want Cooper. I think he has the most potential. Craig and Martin are both already through. They are. Yeah, they are. MX reference, Christian Craig turned pro in 2009. And I'm not one of the like, oh no, get old man Craig out of the class kind of guys. It's just a fact. Like, 2009 was a long time ago. He was racing in the 250s against Barsha, Roxon, and Tomac. It's wild to think about. A top 10 in the 250 class on a 10-year-old bike. God, what do you think is at a more disadvantage? A 125 or a Suzuki? Also, I want to bring it up to Team Solitaire. Can we get Robbie Wageman on a 125 one of these rounds? Why not? Why? Robbie Wageman literally has won multiple, like, 2-stroke 125. He did all the All-Star races when they were doing those with RV and stuff back then. Like, he is amazing at a 125. I want to know, nothing against Stank. This isn't about Stank and PulpMX or whatever. Robbie Wageman is a bona fide, legitimate top 10 talent. in the 250 class. And he loves 125s. Where do you think Wageman, does he make a main? Where does he get? I want to know. I want to know. Hey, Ron Dog, thanks for being here, man. I'll catch up with you next weekend. I'm not going to drag it on too much longer. I feel it in my throat. All those whoops Davey has been making Mumford and Kelly, it is paying off. Yeah, hey, Derek Kelly, ride of his life, right? What did he end up, 12th? Right? 12th? 12th, look at that. Also, I have to say, Cole Thompson, I slept on Cole Thompson. Good for him. Surratt had a star ride at one point on 125s. Yeah, I knew they were both good at it. I think it would be cool. I don't know why. I don't know why they shouldn't. I mean, obviously, if Robbie is in the hunt for points, I understand why he might not want to drop down for a 125 just for funsies. But even better if Tanner, if both of the solitary Yamahas went 125 for like the last race of the year. What if they went 125s for the East-West Showdown? Because they're not going to make the main, no offense, but Robbie would be a fringe into the East-West, and Surratt would probably not make the East-West. So just go out there on a 125 and see what happens. It'd be fun if nothing else. They'd have a blast. And we would have a blast. It'd be a way to make a small team feel important on the weekend, you know? Can we talk about who had the best looking bike? Jake, who's your answer? We can. Everybody in chat can answer on this one. For me, it was HRC. I really liked the very pale gray Honda. I don't think it was necessarily the best looking graphic kit, but I really like the look of that bike. Can we stop doing stencil numbers though? Please. Every time there's military appreciation, everybody just makes their numbers look like a stencil. Like, who decided stencil was was like a military thing? You know what I mean? That's not. I don't know how that connection really got made. I've been talking to Team Solitaire about getting together to do something for fantasy people. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Jaden, hi. Do you do Supercross Fantasy? That's what we do here. Yeah, we do PulpMX. Specifically, we all play, a lot of us play a lot of everything, but specifically we do PulpMX Fantasy. Just behind the Blue Angels. The Blue Angels gear was so good. That's what is paint on the side. No, Brandon, I get it, but it just feels lazy, and the only reason stencils were used so prominently is just because that's how we did. That was the best option once. But block letter stencils also looks like you're having a yard sale. That's also yard sale stuff, you know? Yeah, Patty, I had an electrical tape X as my number for my first race. Because I was 6 years old and I showed up and we didn't have a number on my bike. So I just had an electrical tape black X on my Suzuki JR50. What was y'all's first dirt bike? The cat's back. There's no bikes, I'm sorry. Team Solitaire was the best just behind the Blue Angels. I didn't think their bike was so good. Their gear, I think, was okay. But I don't know. I wish we would do more things. I wish we would do more themes like this, though. It was cool. KX60, hell yeah, Jake. That was my last dirt bike for almost 20 years. Jake, are you from Steak Farm? Thank you for the chats. No, Dane, thank you for being here, man. Thanks for sticking around for. I did a long one. Every time I say I'm gonna do a shorter one, I do a longer one. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. Dane, I will see you next weekend. You be good this week. Any word on Adam? I haven't heard anything. Tweaked his knee apparently. I wish. Steve said Adam was good. I wish he would have been more specific. I didn't have him on my team anyway, but I wish. I am Steak Farm. Okay, I thought so, Jake. I thought so. Thank you. Retro Night. Yeah, Matthew. Yeah. Okay, so SKDA. Does anybody who's your guys' favorite graphics company? Um, SKDA is probably mine, and they are the ones that do Rocky Mountain, they do Club MX, they do a ton. Who else do they do? They do AJE, they do Jerry Robbins, new ones every week. They do Twisted Tea, Firepower Honda, AEO KTM, Rock River Yamaha. They're doing a ton of teams. They're really coming hard this year. But they have some like retro. Let's see if I can find them that are just so good, and I would love to see people bring back the fluorescent colors. You guys know what I'm talking about. This was what my KX60 looked like, was this scheme right here. The purple. I didn't have gold wheels, but the purple and the hot pink and the yellow. Oh man, I would kill. I would kill for some retro 90s stuff like this. That would be sick, you know? A really old RM125, circa 75, then a brand new 79 250 Honda. I do want to know, Patty. I always want to know. But yeah, these were great. These were great. Oh yeah, Starling too. He does Starling's bikes. But SKDA, they're originally an Australian company, but they're going hard into like the US now, and yeah, they're doing some really cool retro kits. Do they have the retro Honda one? Yeah, here you go. I always loved the like bluish purple from, was that 97? I think it was 1997. The CR had that bluish purple. But big fan of these kits. Would love to see something like this come back. That would suck to put new graphics on weekly to not make the main. Oh, you said it, not me. I just read it out loud. Oh man. Local buddy, he did club graphics in 2019. That's rad. Kenny kind of redid. That's true, Matthew. That's true. He did do something similar with the blue number plates. God, you want to talk about money in the y'all remember cigarette money? I was watching some flat track. I was watching some old moto world from like the late 80s or late 80s early 90s, and flat track Dash for Cash was literally just like the heat race winners, just like kind of arena cross. They made $10,000 for Dash for Cash in 1991, and I was like, oh my god! Like, we forget just how much money was in these sports back when Camel and Winston and all of those and Budweiser and everything, like, they made so much more money back then. It's incredible. I don't even think a flat track race pays $10,000 for the first place winner now, you know? Jake, I did think it was a little bit. I understand they're trying to go for the, like, make it in each of the stadiums. But are they just going to do sports teams every weekend? At least this weekend they picked the Padres and not the Chargers. Because last week he did Oakland as a Raider scheme, and the Raiders aren't even in Oakland anymore. And I'm like, you know that you could have did the Athletics. Oakland has another team, like, that's currently still there. But, you know, whatever. I don't make the rules. I don't design the kits. It's not my thing. I just felt like doing an Oakland Raiders themed kit didn't really make the Oakland fans any happier, because they're like, yeah, thanks for reminding me that this team's in the playoff and it's not my team anymore, you know? Do we need a super poll for the top 10 for a championship point or two? Brandon, I don't know. That would be interesting, but the last thing I want is more chances for the top guys to get injured and make the championship even more flimsier than it is, you know? Bring back the Bud Light. Oh, the Bud Light KTM, though. I'm in. Isn't first place? Yeah, I think so, MX. It's not I don't know. Yeah, I'll say it with bonuses, obviously, but I would say that's probably right around there. Oh, better times back then with all the money coming in. But I get it. Worlds change, and we got to change with it. But I'm gonna wrap it up. It's 2:25 in the morning for me, and I am tired. But I enjoy spending my time with y'all. Thanks so much for listening to me. Remember, I do these shows for y'all. No sponsor or anything like this. If you guys know a sponsor, you want to sponsor the After Race show, that'd be really cool. But if you don't, if you want to support, the Patreon's always there. $5 a month will get you an entry to win this autographed race used number plate straight off of Adam Cianciarulo's bike from the main event for A1. I will have something else cool to give away also in February. But that's all I got for you guys. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next weekend are we doing Glendale next weekend? I feel like I should know this. Is it Glendale? It's late. No, we're doing Anaheim again. That's right. Duh, we're doing 3 Anaheims. Anaheim, Glendale, Anaheim. So we'll see you back in Anaheim next weekend. Take care, y'all. Be good people.